I'm going to bring up one of our producers, one of the best producers ever. I owe this man a tremendous debt of gratitude. Again, as I said before, he does all the yeoman work here at the Story Salon. Without him, I don't know where we'd be. He is charming, he is funny, he is sharp, he is clever, and he's just a superior storyteller, Mr. Tony Figueroa.
Beverly Mickens, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Actually, I have a story that comes right out of our Story Salon Big Book of Stories. This is my contribution to the book. The book is available on Amazon.com. And it's called The Funeral Story. I'm a child of television. I represent the first generation for whom the television set was now a permanent fixture in our homes. This electronic piece of furniture had entered our sphere of influence like nothing else before it, or since. But growing up, TV did a lousy job dealing with death. See, most of the time, if an actor dies, the character is either recast or that character just goes on a very long trip, never to be heard from again. If the character is actually killed off, there's a high-end funeral that is bought and paid for, and everyone has moved on by the next episode. See, TV failed to capture the finality of it all. I lost a sister in January of 2000, then a brother 6 months later. Now, my older brother, another child of television, actually told me that if this was in a script, nobody would buy it, because death does not listen to market research. Now, to lose two siblings so close to each other made me feel like I had failed the grieving process the first time and just had to repeat it again in summer school. Grief is really hard to hide. I don't care what you say to somebody. You could say that you are okay, but your eyes will always give you away. I think I did a lousy job hiding my grief during that time period. I think I hid my grief as well as Liberace hid being gay. Yeah, it was pretty bad. And I tried writing about it and still had some conflicts there because I was a comedian, and do you write about death? Do you write about your grief? Actually, I got my answer thanks to television. And it was everyone's favorite episode of the Mary Tyler Moore Show. Chuckle the Clown's Funeral. Chuckles bites the dust, right? A little song, a little dance, a little salsa down your pants. Yeah, remember that? Because in the course of that episode, because the beloved children's star Chuckles the Clown died dressed as Peter Peanut, killed by an elephant who shelled him to death, the characters Lou Grant and Murray Slaughter were making jokes about the scenario, right? And they were joking. Mary thought it was inappropriate, but Lou straightened her out. He said that we should laugh at death, because in the end, death has the last laugh on us. Now, for the funeral, I had to go to Orlando, Florida. And if you ever have a say in planning a funeral, do not plan your funeral in Orlando, Florida. It is a wonderful vacation destination, but it is a lousy place for a funeral. It starts on the plane, because you have all these happy, perky, celebratory people with their flowery shirts, and they're all excited, and you're the one guy on the plane dressed in black. And then you land, and the first thing you hear in the airport is, "It's a small world after all," or reasonable equivalents to that music. And I'm hearing all these people excited. They're saying, "I want to go to Disney, I want to go to Epcot, I want to go to Universal." And I'm going, "I'm going to go to Denial Land." And when I get really upset, I get really sarcastic. So I think the first thing I shouted out was, "So where do we go for a funeral in Orlando, Florida? Is there like a Snow White funeral home? Do I expect to see a sign with 7 little pallbearers? You know, hi ho, it's in the ground you go?" No. I got all of that out of my system, and then it occurred to me, I can never remember those 5 stages of grief. Denial, anger, something. I never remember what they are. But those 7 dwarves actually work pretty well as a substitute. You see, when I got the bad news, I got a little dopey. And then when the reality was setting in, I became grumpy. Then I had to meet all these people at the funeral home, and I was not in the mood to meet new people. And I became bashful. And then grieving actually messes with your immune system, and I got sneezy. Got a little help from Doc. He gave me something that actually made me sleepy. And then I'm constantly being reminded that you're supposed to be happy because your loved ones are now in a better place. Planning a funeral is rough. You have to deal with people who have the ethics of used car dealers. But at least in a car dealership, you can walk off the showroom floor. Here, you have to make a lot of permanent decisions in 3 days and under a great deal of duress. And the salespeople are no help at all. They're just hovering all over you, especially when I was in that coffin showroom, whatever you call it, right? The place with the new coffin smell? Yeah. I actually was asking about this beautiful beechwood coffin, and they said, yeah, we can't sell you that. That's a rental. See, in Florida, I don't know if you can do it in California. In Florida, apparently a lot of people like to have a viewing before their cremation, so you can rent one for the funeral. So have your cake and burn it, I guess. But I know, I feel weird enough wearing bowling shoes that somebody else wore. That coffin thing, that just kind of freaked me out a little bit. I've been a pallbearer several times in my life, and I take the role very seriously. It's one of the few times that you will see me dignified and stoic and proper, but there is always one pallbearer who feels that they need to start chatting away to lighten the mood. And I swear, this happened one time, my brother's funeral. Somebody says, "So, any of you been watching Survivor?" Yeah, TV was the last thing on this child of television's mind, especially reality TV, come on. But real life, many times, is so different from TV. Real life does not break for commercials, and no matter how many hours you spend with her, you are not allowed to list Oprah as a reference unless you actually know Oprah. And unlike on Bewitched, when you lose somebody, you can't get a new Darren. Thank you.
Tony Figueroa.